Hey everybody, it's Scott coming at you with the online players meeting for the Legend of Lizard Peak 6, supported by Innova Champion Discs. What we're going to do this time is I'm going to use some clips that I've already recorded from previous players meetings, because some of this stuff I get tired of talking about, like alcohol abuse and COVID stuff. But a few things I've got to clear up here up front regarding the COVID. We're going to hit the masks and all that stuff in a second. And here's the thing. Listen, I'm not going to talk politics on any of these videos, and I try to avoid that, because when we come out to play disc golf, we're not out there to debate about nonsense and BS and things that are antagonistic and pit people against each other. We're out there to be together and enjoy the sport that we love. All right? But I'm going to say something here up front. Recently there was an announcement that said masks are no longer needed outside. When they said this on the news, they snuck in there that masks are no longer needed if you're vaccinated outside. Talking about people, well, they're on a hike and they no longer have to wear a mask. Listen, when someone's alone in the forest, they weren't wearing a mask to begin with. So what are you talking about? Masks are still required in groups and gatherings, and they make it sound like like stuff has changed, and really it's an announcement just to make an announcement, because nothing has changed. And it makes me nuts. Okay, because I got to clarify this at the front of the players meeting. Anyway, we'll get to the masks and what's still required, because all of it's still required. We have to still deliver on our promise about our COVID mitigation plan, because we're having an event and it's a gathering of people. Now, this doesn't mean that you got to be out with a mask on when you're teeing off or anything like that when you're out there. But yes, caddies are still not allowed. And yes, spectators are still not allowed. Let's get into the rest of this stuff. Special thanks to our sponsors, Innova Champion Discs, Disc Giant, Washoe County, and thanks to our whole sponsors, Eric Wanhoff, Wyatt Hannell, Eric Stacknick, Lynn and Deona Worth, Dr. Jeremy Steele, and George Velarde. And also special thanks to some people that are helping me out and have helped us out with things such as the monumental prep for the women's golf event with a special layout. Luke Anderson, who spent a lot of time on that and a lot of time moving baskets for us. Thank you, Luke. Eric Wanhoff spent a lot of time out there trying to fix some of the damage that vandals recently caused. Trying to disable certain pin positions is just disgusting and despicable. But thank you, Eric, for your help with that and your hard work. Thanks to Scott Pointer, who is always there to help, and I know how much he's going to be helping during the tournament. Thanks to Brian Parker, BP, who was out there on his ATV cleaning up massive amounts of trash, hauled away bags and bag loads of trash to make the experience nice for us. We appreciate you, Brian. And very, very special thanks to Keela Banner, who was there for me, is assistant TD, and is helping me pull through this, as well as the tournament I recently took over to help make sure it would happen, Turtle Rock, which is coming up. So thank you, sponsors. Thank you, friends. Without you, it would not have been the same tournament, and we appreciate your support. Now, things at this tournament are working a little different than what you may have experienced in the past, because this is a COVID version of the event. I had to propose a COVID mitigation plan that was approved by our local government in order to be able to hold this event. That stands as our agreement. As a result, all rules will be followed with strict compliance as to not jeopardize our ability to hold future events. First and foremost, if you're feeling under the weather, do not come. Masks. Failure to follow this rule will not result in a warning. Failure to follow this rule will result in immediate disqualification. Signs will be posted and all players must wear masks, properly covering nose and mouth. Do not show up here floating around your junky mask that's sitting like this with your nose poking out. That does not constitute compliance. By the same token, if you show up pulling the chin strap move, first of all, you look like an idiot. Second of all, that, because it's on you, does not mean that it's being worn in compliance. All right? Don't turn me into the cops, because that's not what I'm here to do. You must have a mask on when in the tournament central area. Do not approach the table for check-in. Do not even come within 50 feet of that area unless you have your mask on. If you show up and make it a situation where I have to tell you, hey dummy, you saw on the players meeting that you were supposed to have your mask on, guess what? Instant DQ. Because by the time you get there, the damage is done. You have caused a problem with us and local government and the plan that we agreed upon to make this event happen. I don't care who you are or who you think you are. Out if you cannot comply. Don't make it an issue. Now look, once you're out of the tournament central area and on your way to your holes, no issue. Social distancing. Because we are in groups, out at a distance, it looks like we're closer together than we actually are. We do not want any misunderstandings that people in our event are not maintaining social distancing. It is for this reason that you must maintain at least 8 feet of social distance when you're out on the course. Do not touch other people's discs. Do not touch other people's equipment. Listen, I get it. We're used to hanging out and we're used to being with our friends. But we have to go with the flow on this. Do not high five. Do not shake hands. Just keep your camaraderie to a verbal level. You want to pay close attention to this one. There is no smoking of anything. Vape pen, I don't care. It doesn't matter because what we're not going to do is go, hey, that guy's smoking. Then someone else goes, oh, it's just a vape pen. No, there's no smoking of anything during the round, okay? There is no consumption of alcohol whatsoever during the round. In the past, people thought they'd get cute. No, look, I'm going to hide my alcohol in my Gatorade bottle because I just can't play without being get a little buzz on. That is cheating. And I did not become the Nevada State coordinator for the PDGA by letting people coast on the rules. If you are caught violating this rule, it is a no warning, instant disqualification, and I am happy to dole out the DQ on this. You can ask anyone because as far as I'm concerned, you make the sport look bad. So if that's you and you can't handle it, you may as well give me your resignation now. This is a PDGA sanctioned event. Don't waste your money. Go to doubles, go play tags. Get together with your friends, all right? No one wants to be involved in the drama, especially me. I don't want to have to DQ anybody. It's a drag. Please, don't make it an issue. Hey, and listen, belligerence will not be tolerated. If you're loaded coming back to the event and putting a funk on things for your card mates, ejection, son. Caddies and spectators are strictly prohibited. There is only one exception to this rule. There is one junior sign up for this event, and if that person brings their legal guardian or parent with them during their round, that is 100% permitted. Anything beyond these parameters is absolutely against the agreement that we have signed and against the rules, and at this point, that is not permitted. Hole 18. Hole 18 plays as an island. It's listed in the caddy book. A link was posted to both on DG Scene and the Facebook events page. We have expanded the island. Some people had trouble reaching the island. That's not the intent. We're not sadists that are trying to punish people. It plays much shallower, so it's easier to make the island. We have clarified the island. There will be flags all around the island so you can get a better idea of where it is. And you will see that if you miss the island on your drive, you will take a 1-stroke penalty and proceed directly to the drop zone. As you're looking down at the basket, that is to the right of the basket. You will see it clearly staked. Head over there with your 1-stroke penalty. There is a chance to get a big putt there to save par. If you miss the island after the drive, such as you've already made the island, but you putt past the basket and you end up OB, or you're so shallow on the island that really technically your next shot is an upshot and it flies out. If any other throw subsequent to the drive goes out of bounds, you take that throw where it went out of bounds with a meter in from OB, and that is where your lie is in that situation. Sage relief. In Nevada, one of the crazy things about Nevada, there are many, but one of them is the state flower of Nevada is a sagebush. Sagebrush? Sagebush? I think both of those are right. Anyway, is sage. It's everywhere. I mean, it is everywhere. As the state flower for Nevada, it is protected. Like in California, when I used to live there, the state flower is a poppy. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a flower. And some sage flowers, sometimes. I don't know. In California, my parents would always tell me, don't step on that because you could get arrested. if they find you stomping on poppies. And I was like, oh, wow, that's serious. Okay, in Nevada, look, as a result of the fact that sage is the state flower, take a look online right now. Stop and just take a look so you're familiar with what it looks like, because what I'm about to tell you can save you strokes. There's a rule in Nevada that can be enacted by TDs referred to as sage relief. Now, this doesn't apply in California or any place else. It's in Nevada for the specific reason, so don't get crazy. All right, you guys, some people get carried away with going, you know, there's a rule about this, and they're in Wyoming. Listen, ding-dong, the state flower in Wyoming is not sage, all right? Okay, we're going to get to more ding-dong behavior here in a second when I talk about this, but I need to clarify the sage relief rule. Here's what it is. I'm going to use, no, this isn't sage. That's why you had to look it up online so you're familiar. This is random greenage from my garbage can. Look, it's a piece of organic spinach. Let's say player A, man, look at that. Oh, man, that's bad. Ass. Wings popping out, and he's going, shh. Okay, but that's not who he is right now. He's here to help us illustrate the sage. Guy's disc lands in the sagebrush. If Guy's going to come over here and actually stand at his regular lie, he'd be smashing down the plant to get in there, right? But this is a state-protected flower, this sage bush. All right, brush, whatever. If his disc is up here in the front of the bush and he's back here, the basket's over here, his lie, instead of stepping on the sagebrush and damaging it, what he's going to do is get up here and he's going to put his foot as close as possible to his lie without damaging the bush. That means his shin is probably touching the bush and everything, right? His foot is underneath the bush, though, not smashing the branches or the foliage. That is sage relief. So instead of having to stand in the bush, you actually get relief and even footing. See what I'm saying? You can throw with your foot flat. Here's another donut hole move. It made me crazy. Last year, people were making stuff up. When you don't know what you're talking about, just zip it, okay? We don't need you out there complicating the issue and creating controversy. If your disc is in the bush, that's the relief you get. Someone comes up and says, well, there's another sage back here. So if I'm doing a run-up, that sage is in the way. No one said you were guaranteed a runway for your throw, all right? You get sage relief, even footing, not guaranteed a run-up. Look, it wasn't in the way of you standing behind your lie behind the sagebrush. Who thought of that? I know who brought it to my attention, but he wasn't the guy that made it up. And then some other joker says, well, this stump is sagebrush, and he's trying to give his group to give him relief. The thing was burnt to a crisp. This is... Do I really have to point it out? If the sagebrush is burnt to a crisp, we don't have to worry about protecting it. If it's just a stick or a root and there's no bush attached to it, what are you talking about? All players must check in at Tournament Central prior to the start of the round, at least 15 minutes before your round. I'm requesting that all players check in 30 minutes before the round on day one so that they have time to collect their players packs. Pro and AMs have shirts and some other items to put in their goodie bags. There are enough items for everyone, but please do not ask for or attempt to take extras. All right, practice basket and practice area. Players may use the practice basket only after the group in front of them tees off. This allows for approximately 12 minutes of practice putting time at the practice basket. This is a reminder, masks are still required in this area. If you'd like additional practice or warm-up time, the pitch and putt, located to the right and further south, will be open to tournament players only for the duration of the weekend. Right about now, I start to get crazy requests from people about, I want to play with Billy. There's 100 people to coordinate here, and people will play with their divisions, and I cannot honor specific requests for you to play with your buddies or any of that stuff. Speed of play. There are over 100 other people behind you at this tournament, so you need to be diligent about watching where your disc goes and where your competitors' discs go. Please pay attention. Also with speed of play. Listen, if you're in a group that's starting to go slow for whatever reason, it is not always 100% necessary to wait for the guy that's furthest out to throw first. Please, if you're getting slow, start playing by the rules of speed of play. Just tell someone that you're about to throw while they get situated. If they're taking a long time, keep things moving along so we can have a smooth event. Thank you. 2-meter rule is in effect. OBs, out of bounds areas, all pavement and structures like gazebos, fence lines, and asphalt and beyond are OB. So to illustrate, the road to the right of hole 1 and beyond, cement around the gazebos, the parking lot and the fence separating the school from the course to the right of hole 3, and the fence line to the right of hole 26 are out of bounds. If for any reason you will be not returning to play, or you cannot make it that morning of the event, you need to let me know ahead of time. Because if you don't let anyone know that you're not coming back to the event or not showing up to the event, and there are other players on your card, you happen to be, for some reason, scheduled on a 3-some, when you don't show up, there are 2 players left with a situation where they shouldn't be able to play because the 3-player minimum is required to play around during a PDGA event. This causes major drama for the people who are caught in that situation, and it backs up and creates a delay for every single person at the event while we try to mitigate the situation. Please be conscious of this. Don't get penalized, and don't put the rest of the people at the tournament in a situation where we have to delay everything. By the same token, if you get bummed that you're not throwing very well and just walk off the course in the middle of a round, that's also an 888, 5 points off your rating. Not worth it. Finish the round. It's called ratings manipulation. Trophies will be available at the end of the day on after the second round, after all of the divisions' results have been recorded in PDGA. Pro payouts will be sent out by the following day using PayPal. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. There are some extra rules because of all the things that are happening in the world, but it's going to be a great time. Good luck this weekend. See you at check-in. Thanks again.